Get strong.
Okay.
Who do you think has more privilege in society, men or women?
I'll say women.
Oh shit, I wasn't.
I'll say women because I mean you can't lie. We do have a lot of extra privileges that men don't. Like some of the stuff we get in life is because some females look better than some other females, and we get more just because of our looks, and we can get away with certain stuff where men has to actually work extra hard to provide and do what they have to do.
Can you?
So this is my issue with this woman. If she knows this is the reality, and that women, beautiful women, get treated better and their existence is much better than normal, ugly, unattractive females, why on earth is she fat? She has to realize that her weight, like, drastically decreases her pool of candidates, suitable candidates, that would give her a better life and give her the things she wants in her life. Like, that's like saying, like, males, they have the three things. Was it fitness, money, and status? That's the three things you could try to hit as a male. I mean, fitness is easy. You just gotta wake up, do a couple push-ups, and you get the physicality you want. Obviously, not a couple push-ups. You need to do a lot more than a couple push-ups, but it's on the point. But like, go to the gym. Like, simple thing. Like, if you want the best life you can get, go to the gym. Same way for females, because your physical attraction is the majority of the reason why men even come towards you or even think that they want to even get to know you because you're physically attractive. Males, you can get your suitable candidate pool widened simply by the fact that you're physically fit. Having one of the three is pretty much all you need. And actually, I'd say it's a lot more than three, but I'm gonna say the generic three. But it's easy to get these. I mean, at least one of the three is very easy. Just hard work at the gym, multiple times a day, or you can stay home and do calisthenics while watching TV. It's very simple. Like, and you could be more attracted to the opposite gender. But my problem is that she knows these things, but still, her existence isn't matching the knowledge that she knows. That's all I'm saying.
Can you name any privileges that men have in society?
There's only one. There's only one privilege that a male has, and it's not even a privilege. It's literally just, unfortunately, the way men and women view each other. The only thing a male has over a female that every female brings up is the fact that they don't get called a hoe for doing hoe shit. Unfortunately, men can't be hoes. I don't know why it seems to be continuously brought up through every single podcast. A man can't be a hoe. Grow up.
I'll say like higher pay raises and pay raise jobs, like the jobs you guys do. Of course, if a woman wants to do it, you
Another
guys will
fallacy.
still get paid more just because you're men.
That's not true. That the wage gap myth has been debunked so much. Like, and I dislike when women use that.
I mean, but certain jobs they do be looking for men.
Let me ask you this: if women got paid less, right? And first of all, it's actually a law that for you to discriminate against gender. So if women got paid less, there would be a lot more lawsuits. And number two, as an employer, if you know that technically you could pay women less, would you not hire more women than you would men?
I mean,
could that be why the woman is working, dominating the workforce?
It
Or
depends
could
on,
it have been at one point?
It depends on what workforce you're talking about. Because when we talk about jobs that help build society, like infrastructure work and sanitation and people that's actually construction, women ain't in those positions. You know what I'm saying? But those office jobs with the cubicles telling people what to do, y'all be damn sure signing up for those positions. Like, you get what I'm saying? So fire department, policemen. Women don't actively sign up for the quote unquote difficult, dangerous.
The biggest portion of it all, honestly, they don't want to do those type of jobs. I mean, military for sure, because it is anything combat. It destroys their body. I've seen it firsthand. Like they don't survive for long in the job. If it's an 11 Bravo or anything of a combat job, they typically don't make it through like the second contract. I've known multiple women that have like injured themselves out, but like a year or two into like doing the job, because I see the biggest problem is like the hips. They lose their hips. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, it's like They get like I think it was like a fracture or something, or some sort of hip damage, because they're normally, after that first injury or the first couple field problems or something, that's it. They're gone. Like their body's giving up on them. It's not an easy job to do a lot of these physically grueling things. A lot of women don't realize until they're in it. And then you talk to these women and they realize that it was not the move at all. All the people telling them to do the, it's all women could do what men could do, and then them actually doing it, it's a different type of existence. It's not easy. There's a lot of suffering in it. And honestly, I don't know why people want to suffer. Let the men suffer. Let the men suffer. There are certain jobs that there's suffering included. And I'd say military and law enforcement and like being a firefighter, there's like a lot of grueling suffering involved in it, especially when it comes to you actually doing the job. The train up is the easiest part about it. It's the actually doing the job that's the hardest part. Because when women suffer, it doesn't make them more appealing to other men. Scars are attractive to females on men, but scars on females are not attractive to men on women. I mean, it's just the way the world is, unfortunately. I mean, not even unfortunately, it's just the way it is.
Jobs, this is why more men die at work than women, because men are mainly in these positions. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So usually women go into much more office-based jobs like secretary, nursing, teaching, things like that. Safe jobs. Yeah, the safe jobs. And not that that's a knock, but sometimes those jobs don't tend to pay as much as a guy fucking risking his life working on a fucking scaffolding, like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And a 1,000-foot, you know what I mean? And a skyscraper type of shit. Well, now that it's 2022
and they're shooting up schools.
Ooh.
This is the dumbest argument ever. I understand there are a lot of school shootings, but they're not as prevalent as people think they are. They're just very broadcasted. I think this 2022, they only had 52 or 56. It was some number like that. And I think it nearly doubled from the year before. It was like 32 the year before. But people have this fallacy that there's like every single day you gotta keep your head on a swivel. And you still gotta keep your head on a swivel. Don't get me wrong, because you don't want to be that one place that it happens at. But it is not happening as much as people think it is. Unfortunately, some parents aren't policing their weapons properly. That's what a lot of it is that incompetent people are holding weapons and then their children are getting weapons, because kids can't buy guns. So it's obviously some incompetent person. I'm not going to say where other possibilities could come from, because honestly I don't know, but I know a majority of the cases where school shootings are involved with children, it's typically parents leaving their weapons unsecured. That's typically where it comes from.
People are shooting up schools. Being a teacher is a dangerous job.
Being a teacher is a dangerous job. Hell yeah. Teachers do need to get paid more. I'm not gonna lie to you.
And especially if you in like a junior high school or high school, some of the videos I see on social media.
Yeah, they better ready to beat the teacher's ass.
I know.
That's a fact.
So any other privileges I could think of
that men have over women?
Yeah.
Other than not being labeled a whore when they have multiple sex partners?
Ding dong. Ding dong. I mean, you know what's crazy? It's like almost these women, they want to secretly be like whores. Like, I don't even know why by bringing it up. If you don't want it, why even argue for it? It's idiotic. And something that will probably the stats show it, more than likely negatively affect your life for the people that are involved in it, particularly women. We know the stat, like, the more bodies you get as a female is not good. Like, you shouldn't want any female to be going down this road, like, and just be another statistic. I don't know why they even bring this up. It's stupid. And first of all, it's not a privilege. It's just a societal norm, not a privilege.
Right now, what I'm saying, like, yeah. I think that's probably the old.
And I would say contrary to that, because apparently women are liberated and they can do whatever they want with their bodies. So I don't know where this is coming from.
And expectations. Like if a dude is getting himself together at 40, 35, 40, anywhere between 30 and 40, it's like, he's a guy.
No, hell no. Yes. Hell no.
Dudes can run the street way longer than females can.
The reason for that is because men don't really have a clock. I mean, I'd say 70. I'm like 60. For me personally, I'd say 60, maybe 50 tops. I'd be thinking of even doing wild stuff like that, but I don't want to be in that particular scenario. But for women, the very thing that men want from you, if you're 30, you're losing all of it. At like 33, it's you lose like you lose like most of your egg. You have like 20% of your eggs remaining. So it's not appealing. Most men like younger women. Unfortunately, it's never gonna change. I mean, let me not say never, because I don't know what's going on. This world's changing crazily. But for right now, men want younger women. They don't want to deal with some 40-year-old woman. They don't want to deal with no 30-plus-year-old woman, typically. And that not, let me just say this, the men that you want, not random people like, come on, that are pandering to the other women because that's the only woman they can get. Let's stop with that. I'm talking about the men you want. They don't want you because of your age, that when you're past like the 30s and 40s. We're acting like we don't know this.
If you see listen, it's way more acceptable for a 30-year-old dude to be ripping and running the streets than it is for a 30-year-old woman to be ripping and running the streets.
Impossible.
It just looks different.
It's way more acceptable for a 40-year-old woman to be living with her mom than a man is.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Bro,
I don't
you
think
ain't-
so.
You ain't never heard nobody shame a woman for living with her
Yeah.
mom.
What
And I
did
know
TL
women that's
with
30
her
years
kids?
old.
Oh, yes.
What did TLC say? If you living in your mama's basement, you a scrub, man. Ain't don't got no song saying if a woman living in her mama's basement, she a what? What is the word for that? Like,
There's a good percentage of them doing that.
If you're of a certain age and you still living with your mom, I don't care if you're a male or a female. That's a negative. That's a red flag.
No, it is.
If you're dating
It is.
But if
and
you-
somebody's getting to know you and
What
you
age
tell
did you
them-
say? What age did you say? If you're living in with your parents, did you give an age?
Well, I said over 30, but
Over 30.
in the beginning, I was saying just in generally speaking, 30-year-old men are more acceptable, still ripping and running and making silly decisions as opposed to a 30-year-old female. Realistically, they expect for most women to be a mother by the time they're 30. Because ain't that Kevin Samuels who was talking about women after 30 is geriatric pregnancy and
At
everything?
35.
35.
Yeah, after 35. So that means that you're expecting for a woman to have her children, if you want her to have a healthy baby and did not have a geriatric pregnancy, you want her to
well,
have her
that's
kids.
just biology, though. Man.
You want her to have her kids in her 20s, though, right?
I mean, before it becomes a risk. Yeah.
She's acting as if it's a social construct that's forcing her to have children at the ages that they're talking about. Beneath 30, I'd say like beneath 32 and below, honestly, if I'm a cute buck. But it's not society. Unfortunately, it's your body. If you want to be mad at your body. Be mad at freaking science, all right? It's not men, it's not society that's forcing these things on you. You inherently know that you need to have children before the certain date. It's crazy. I'm actually going to do another video on something. It's going to be about, I'll make it and I'll post it, but it's going to be about like pregnancies and women having children later in life and the risk. I didn't know how bad the risks were. I don't want to say anything because I don't remember exactly what they were, but it's crazy. That's all I got to say on that.
Okay, so but in order for a woman to be a mother, then that she would have to be a responsible adult because now she has a whole nother
She do?
life relying on
She
her.
do with today's society.
Because
There's a lot of women. There's a lot
want
of
to
women.
be.
I mean, you will want to.
We will want
But that
to be.
doesn't mean there's no pressure on women to do it. Though.
They get government assistance off the rip. You get a baby,
Come
you get a.
on, you can't raise no kid off of government assistance.
They've been doing it
It's
with
a
you.
lot of women out
What?
here
Have you been seeing the
babies
world?
of that government.
You surely can. I don't know where this is coming from. Like, there's plenty of videos where women will come out and say they want multiple baby daddies so all the baby dads can pay their money so that they can not need, there's no need to work. Come on. Let's stop pretending.
The cheese, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I think when we talk about privilege, we often hear women talk about how the patriarchy and women are so oppressed and this, that, and the third. But I could really sit here and name 30 privileges that women have that men do not have. Like,
Give me
are some
one.
of those
Y'all have,
privileges, man?
but y'all have like, let's talk about like car insurance privilege. A woman, you gotta be.
women pay less than
This woman was just talking pure nonsense the entire show, as far as I'm concerned. She doesn't know anything that she's talking about. She's just talking. It's ridiculous.
car insurance than men
We
because
don't.
they are women. And that's a fact.
Men, no, they pay higher because
No,
you have to
women
be
pay
like
less.
25 for
No,
like
that's
a
first
good.
of all, that's anybody.
Yeah,
but
that's
in
age.
general,
Yeah.
car insurance, they charge women less in car insurance because quote unquote statistically women are safer
Safer
drivers.
drivers, yeah.
So y'all pay less in car insurance than men and on average. Like, you get what I'm saying? So the whole thing
Which is
about
bullshit. But
Because
I
we're
mean,
expected to be cautious.
No.
And it's acceptable for men
Yeah,
to be reckless, and that was just my point.
No,
it's more
the
acceptable
reason
for a man to be
women
reckless
pay less
up
in
age.
car insurance because there are more male drivers on the road, which means in accidents is a more higher percentage of a man being in an accident because there are naturally more men on
A lot of women don't even drive.
Yeah, a lot of women don't even drive. Y'all be passenger princesses, man.
Not the passenger princess.
That's a negative. I run the driver's seat.
Okay, how long you been driving?
2 years.
Oh my God, you just came outside, bro.
Driver on these streets, like, so when I think about like female privilege, I think about even chivalry is a privilege that women get that men don't get.
And
like,
it's dead.
it could be dead to it.
Correct. And who killed it? Women. She said that with such disdain, like as if they weren't the reason. The amount of women that would be like, oh, I could do that myself. I don't need a man. I don't need your help. I could do that myself. Like men are just getting utterly discouraged from even helping women. Honestly, my chivalry is done. If you're not my female, my mom, or anybody I'm related to, bro, you ain't getting nothing. You'll be lucky to get a door opening, but that's it. That's where it stops. I'm not going away. If you get, that'll be another topic. Be talking about this, but chivalry is dead because y'all killed it. Unfortunately for y'all, right? And on top of that, y'all women are something different nowadays. But let's carry on.
A degree, I agree with that. But in general, women get free things all the time just because they're women. Like they get invited in the clubs.
I mean,
for
yeah,
free.
I agree with
You know
that.
what I mean? They get their bills paid. They selling
Men
feet
too.
pics. What? Men what?
A good woman will pay your bill if
Bro,
you need it. If you need
How
it.
many women pay a
lot.
guy bills right now?
A lot.
You know a lot
I
of
know
women?
what. Listen, I know a dude.
Can you introduce me to them?
I know a dude who convinced the girl to let him move in her place. First of all,
I'm not saying that.
First of all, no. He was in a halfway house.
The Pookie and the Ray Rays.
The Pookie and the Ray Ray.
Now you're not helping the point.
No, listen, he was in a halfway house, and he
Okay.
convinced this girl to let him live with her. Okay.
So he went halfway to all the way in her crib.
You know,
The exception to the rule.
Halfway to full house.
yeah.
Nigga put the full house. You know what I'm saying?
now you know any dudes riding by shelters picking up women and their kids from the shelter and letting them move in?
I don't know.
Exactly.
But I know men taking care of women and their kids all the time. Though.
And it's
They ain't gotta
women-
be in
Men,
shelters.
men not even allowed to be in shelter. That's why all these men are
Didn't
homeless.
Mimi just say
How
on
often
Love
do
and
you see
Hip?
The amount of women that have no job and are living in Miami rent free, they are basically homeless. Like, in her head, I'm pretty sure she's picturing like some no tooth, like dirty ass bum woman. No, that's not. Unfortunately, that's not the reality nowadays. When women are being picked up or after once they get out of the parents' house, they're being picked up and put into a different life that they have never seen in their life, and they are not paying any bills, and they are living really well off lives. I'm gonna do a video on that too later on. Let's carry on.
Homeless
That
woman.
Faith Evans was paying Stevie J's child support. She ain't get consistent child support until he got married to Faith Evans. That mean that
That's like
woman,
one in a
his
million.
wife,
Come on.
was paying his child support.
And we could talk about the numerous men paying child support today when men come
I
on.
don't know
Like,
where
you don't want to go
I don't
down
know
that
how
road,
the child
man.
support
You don't
goes
wanna
down
go down
that
that
road.
road.
No. You said men paying child support to their women for their children. Faith Evans didn't have a nickel in a dime between the baby between Stevie J and Mimi. She was paying his child support
that's
for
true.
his kid with someone
While they
else.
was married.
Yeah, while they were married.
I'm pretty sure that's true. But how often does that happen? That's like that sounds like some unicorn shit. Like that's my first time ever hearing some story like that. That doesn't happen on average. But what I'm saying on average, women are getting free money from men. They putting their cash up in their bio, niggas sending the money. They not doing shit. They getting free dates with men. Men are paying for their rent. This that. On average, most men they can't get their bills paid by a woman. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, unless you got to, then if you do, you got to super finesse your way into that. Like, you get what I'm saying? Women don't even be finessing their way. Niggas just be doing it. That's because of the privilege they have. You know what I mean? When we talk about child court and family court, majority benefits women. Like, you know
Facts.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Women get less jail sentences than
Facts.
men for doing the same crime. Like, we could just keep going on and on about the privileges that
listen,
women have in
I
society.
don't have no kids, and I promise you, if I did have one, we don't even have to debate about no child support. I'll pay you child support, and the baby could go with you. No problem.
I mean, well,
we ain't gotta
I
go to
could-
court. We ain't gotta argue about visitation. Listen, take him, and I will pay you.
she's like 1 in a million for women, but like she's giving off really masculine vibes. Anyways, I wouldn't be surprised if she wants to just start anew. But I don't know, man.
You child support,
That's
whatever
the one.
you
That's
want.
a diamond in the rough too.
And speaking of which, that's another privilege that women have. Women can outright abort and give up their children for adoption, and nobody will
Yes,
label that woman as a
sir.
deadbeat. Nobody even bats an eye. But let a man not
Oh,
take
you
care of
on
his
off today?
kid.
You on fire?
If the man don't take, he a deadbeat. Y'all shaming him, and then you gotta put him. He get put on child support. Women can actively claim declare a man as the child of his father, and he has in California. He has. Did you know a man has 30 days to prove that that's not his child? A woman can just outright just lie and say, well, this is the father of the child. Put it on a birth certificate. If he doesn't
Crazy.
come within that 30
It's
days,
his kid.
that's his kid. Like, you know what
Oh,
I'm
so they
saying?
finally came up with a way to make y'all be responsible.
How
And
you
No.
responsible?
What I'm saying is they could put anybody.
That statement right there is crazy. She said. So apparently, one party is being responsible, the other isn't. Even though both of them are having unprotected sex, and they both know they don't want children. The men generally are vocal with the fact that they don't want children. Come on, like the fact that she had the audacity to say that. I swear.
Not even the father.
Yeah.
You could have a baby by me and
so
put
by
Ace.
someone you never, so
By
by someone
no-
you
yes,
never
yes,
even had sexual
yes,
contact
Yes,
with.
yes,
Yes.
you can say that, and if they don't come to court,
Wasn't
it's
it?
a wrap.
Wasn't it dude that spent 5 years in jail?
5 years
and
in
he
jail.
wasn't even the father child for like child support.
Yeah, I think in
That's
California,
crazy.
like I said, this is not in all states, but in California, I know they have something like that where a woman can do that, and that man has 30 days. He don't even know, but he has 30 days to go to the court and prove that that's not his child. If not, then he can be liable for child support. Like,
Well,
you know
I,
what I mean?
I feel like that's a little bit crazy, but I'm sure that came from something, and the willy
You
nilly.
sound real feminist right now.
What do you mean?
All
Listen,
you gotta do is take a DNA test and get it
I'm not a
reversed.
feminist,
That
but
nigga
it's
had
just
to do
like
something,
you know
like-
how many dudes run around and sleep with women crazy and disappear, one night stand, and this chick is with.
You know how many women are out here sleeping with men that they don't even know who in the hell they are, one night standing them, and then having a child because they're irresponsible. That should be her line. But she won't. She's a female. I mean, females generally, they want to put females in a better light, but let's carry on.
with a baby, and you done ran off into the sunset living your best life, and she's there
okay,
with
I got
a kid,
another
and you
scenario.
never even look back.
There's also another man who has joint custody with his child, right? He has them 3 days. The mother has them 4 days. The judge is making him pay the mother for the 4 days that she has him, but he doesn't get any money for the days that he have. So why should he have to pay? Because he's a man?
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
that's a
what the
little-
court says.
No, yeah, that's
You
fucked
can look it up.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not cool.
Yeah, that's not cool.
If
I
they
don't
split
think
in the
that.
time, then
I don't agree.
I mean, but you're not debating that women have more privileges. Is that what you debating?
It just depends on what subject we're
No,
talking
come
about.
on, man. We talking about overall.
We just gave you
It's talking about
50.
in
But
the whole overall.
but you
spectrum
can't, because in the aspect of like sex, then I feel like men have more privilege.
In
And-
sex?
We don't even have to access to sex unless y'all grant it to us.
No, I mean like being crazy, having multiple partners and not being labeled. That's
Oh,
what
okay.
Again, not many men are doing this. Like, not many men can sport fuck women. She's like, every single time women do this, it's a small minority of men that are doing what she's just describing. This is just ludicrous on every level.
Okay.
when I say
Okay.
sex. Like
I'm telling you,
You
that,
sound like
that
you
is
sound
the
like you want to
only-
have multiple partners.
Listen,
But
that
it's
is
not
the
the
only privilege that
it's-
women
to me,
always use
my opinion
against men.
still, my opinion still is it's more acceptable for a dude to still be making irresponsible decisions when he's up there in age as opposed to a woman. I just think that they say women mature faster than men, so it's expected that a woman is moving more adult-like as she gets into a certain age, more than it is
I believe
expected out
y'all
of a
mature
man.
faster. I do probably agree with that, but I just think y'all stay at that. Okay, when we're 16, y'all at a mind state of maybe of a 21-year-old. Y'all just stay there. It don't evolve from after that. You know what I'm saying? Once men mature, we're like,
So you
And
think
it take-
women stop maturing?
It's not even maturity. I mean, it is maturity. Let me not say it's not maturity. It's not maturity, but it's a different type of maturity. They're literally just being, once they go through enough shit relationships, that's when the maturity begins. And then what mature them even further is when they stop getting the same options they did when they were 18 to 24, because that's when their maturity hits the ceiling. Because they go and they start doing this fight or flight thing. Honestly, I think that's what it is, and they have to basically start acting more like an adult. They can't be as dumb and like, oh, I'm gonna go here. I don't know why, but sure, like gone with the wind type of thing. Like destiny would decide this for me. They do that. They'll do that. They'll still do that for their men. They'll be like, oh, God has a plan for my man, but for their well-being and like their future, they'll start planning more accordingly. From what I've noticed.
Throwing at 21.
But like I said, that's biology, man. If y'all got a certain amount of time to do this thing, obviously it's gonna be more pressure on y'all to do this thing before y'all hit that point. Men can have a child at any fucking age they feel like it. That's it. Like
I mean,
so obviously it's gonna be no pressure. Like me and Eli don't have kids. We in our 30s, know what I mean? But we ain't pressured. But I'm pretty sure women that's our same age group is gonna be like, yo,
I feel no pressure.
It's ticking. Well, you're not the majority, you're a minority.
And you're not even concerned with a kid. So I mean,
Wolf
not like
was just telling us a story, right? About women in their 30s. What they were saying?
They were saying, I want to be loved. I want love now.
They want love now. And the younger women were saying what?
It was like, I'm having fun. I got options.
I'm having fun.
I mean, I'm still having fun, but shit.
like I said, I
Do
think
you
that
want
just,
kids?
That's that maturity. It's that realizing that their fearmen, their window for having children, which they know and innately that's what men want. Most men want children. They know innately that they need it. And these older women, don't get me wrong, the older women, it's fairly people like a bunch of females always say it's so hard to date older women. I would say it's quite the contrary. It's so much easier to date older women because they want that type of connection, because most people, like the men that they want, don't want them, so they're willing to settle for a lot less. They'll go on TV and say, oh nah, this is what I accept, this, and then you see them in real life and you're like, nah, you definitely ain't moving the way you was moving online. That's definitely not what you're doing. You letting anybody with some means slay you. Come on, we know this.
I want a husband.
That's why you
more than I
having.
want
That's why
kids.
you. That's why you.
But
That's
here's
why you
the
having
thing.
fun.
I like
Here's the
that.
thing.
I like that
want
answer,
a
by the way.
husband more than I want kids. I
like
don't want to
that
give
answer.
up my age right now, but I could have had a kid, but I didn't have a husband. And it was more important to me to have family, for my kid to have two parents, for me to not be so weighed down with the responsibility of being a single mother that I couldn't be present and, really interact with my kid in a happy way. Like when there's two parents in the house and y'all are balancing responsibility.
That's why you should have kids in a marriage. I'm not saying that it guards you from everything else, but you need that family structure on some innate level. This is like common knowledge. Get with somebody who wants a family, who their whole, the families have to be intertwined. That is when there's least, I'm not gonna say, let me not say least because I don't know the facts on this, but whenever their families are conjoined, it's very hard because you get pressure from the family type thing for things to work out. And then you sort of, a lot of it is like you push past the points of friction, because the longer you're with somebody, eventually you'll mold. As long as you aren't turning toxic, then you should be fine to live, because that's how most relationships are. There are bad points. So, but apparently nowadays people don't work through the bad points. They just say, nah, we're good. I'll try my next one. They just move on quicker, and they think the grass is always greener on the other side, when in actuality it's not. All right, a lot of the problems could be worked out with just open communication. That's all it could be. But a lot of people don't communicate that very well.
Then I feel like it makes for more pleasant parenting.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
if a woman has to get up, get the kids ready for school, take them to school, pick them up go to work, then get off of work, pick them up from school, bring them home, do it.
I'm not gonna lie that I'm a believer of women only being at home, stay at home moms. I don't believe in they need to work as well, because it is super biased on their side. They're doing all the womanly things and also doing manly, and then you're gonna be surprised when they are more masculine Yeah, I see why men have to build themselves up, and I'm not gonna say all men can do it because only a few men can do it. But in the optimal relationship, the woman stays home and take care of the home and the kids type thing. Because when you do both, it's not a sustainable thing. Because women are gonna be doing the house, the ring of the house, and then also being a breadwinner. So they're basically a man and a woman at the same time, which typically doesn't work. It's going to be extremely hard for that dynamic to work. If I'm going to be 100% with that.
Do their homework, get them bathed, make their dinner, and all of that is on her. Then it's like she doesn't get to do gentle parenting and be loving and nurturing because it's like she's on go. And I just didn't want to be that type of parent. And I knew that the difference in the parenting was having a male present. Like both my parents are in my life and has always been in my life, but my father was the disciplinarian, so that was his role, and then my mother, did the other stuff.
I mean, that's how it should be, and I appreciate you for having that mindset because
Definitely
we don't have a lot of women that share that mindset, unfortunately, in our community. But I'm gonna leave off because I have a ton. Obviously, we got a ton. Women got a ton. I'm gonna leave off on this last thing, right? Yo, women are not forced to take accountability. That's the biggest privilege I have. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody holds women accountable for their bad decision making, but everybody holds men accountable for their bad decision making. That's the biggest privilege I got right now.
That's not true.
Like,
That's not true.
That's not true.
Look at that plus size woman right there. Talking about other women being less attractive, being treated a different way, and women that are more attractive being treated better. If this was true, honestly, I'd say it's the males' fault because a lot of them just are so desperate to chase after the power of P that they're willing to do anything, even sleep with a overweight woman because they have no other options. So yeah, the woman gets glowed up. I wouldn't be surprised if she's getting bills paid just for existing just like every other woman, which is the problem men are facing, honestly. They're facing it, and they are the problem for it. They are the people that are creating the problem.
Women get labeled so fast, it's not even funny.
the only label
I'm not talking about sex.
You talk about
I'm
sex.
not talking about sex.
Okay.
If a woman
So
is a dancer,
What kind of dance?
Was she selling?
She's a sex worker. That's literally in the sex. Like, women don't want to be labeled things because the labels would disqualify them from the life that they want. Unfortunately, if you are a dancer, a bottle girl, or in anything in the late night industry type thing, nightlife, like you're probably disqualified from any men that you actually want. So unfortunately for you, that's probably never gonna change. I pray to God it never changes. But you can't be a stripper or an OnlyFans girl, or you can't be on Instagram twerking all the goddamn time and think you deserve a quality man. That's not how the world works. We need to bring back church, honestly, just for this. Like, this is crazy.
Sex?
she doesn't have to be.
What kind of dancer?
Because if you say she's selling sex, that is in that same
What
bubble.
kind of dancer, man?
If you shaking that ass for cash, you putting a price on you. You get them. It's different.
But you don't have to have sex.
Bruh.
You rubbing your ass on dicks all day.
Not necessarily.
You doing what you
Even if you're not doing the rubbing the dick, like rubbing your ass on dick, it's irrelevant. I find it funny how women always want to try to, let's break the barrier so these women feel included in to get the American dream type of white picket fence in the house and the family and all that stuff. Unfortunately, no. The things that you've done in your past do disqualify you from other freaking, like everything else in your life. If you are a whore in your past, unfortunately, if people know about it, you will be a whore for the rest of your life. There's an easy example. I say this every single time I talk to somebody. High school is literally it's a carbon copy how like the rest of your life is gonna be. There are hierarchies, there are groups, there are cliques, there are like the people spread rumors about you, that type of like gossip shit. That's like how the rest of the world works. And you're gonna tell me you've seen how the high school hoe gets treated, and you would think what it's gonna change in life? You think later on in life it's gonna get easier for her? Are you kidding me? It's not gonna change. If anything, it's gonna double down, and everyone's gonna make fun of the person who ends up with her. It's just how it is. Stop trying to act like you don't know this. Like, I knew a chick that got ran through by the entire football team. Entire football team. You think anyone was even caught dead like dating her? That was actually like popular or had some sort of means to them? You think any star athletes in our school were dating her? It was the weird lame dudes that were dating her openly. Like all the other dudes, I know for a fact they was catching head. They were definitely sleeping with her. But for you to come around here and act like the things you've done in your past as a female is gonna change, there was not a single person, male that I knew from, especially let's keep it the high school pool of men. There's not a single one of them that were a playboy that no other female would want to sleep with. All of them were still slinging dick, left and right. They knew exactly that like other females were already sleeping with them. They knew exactly who was getting it and who wasn't. But you know what they wanted? The man every other woman wanted. Come on.
True. Make money.
That's true.
That's not
true.
true.
Some of it's not true.
Can I say something? They have clubs where you really, well, no. They have peep shows. You can't
Gather
touch
your
the
line.
woman. It's glass between you.
Okay, but what's she doing though?
Selling sex.
It's in the nightlight. Yeah,
All
that's
right, but
adult
nobody's
entertainment.
physically touching her. But she
Okay.
would get, but she's still,
a whore.
put it like this. That woman who is not having sex with anybody, just advertising
Well,
through
popping her
glass,
pussy.
will get this, whatever you want to call it, but she'll get the same title or label as a woman who is having sex with multiple people. And she may not be.
To me, she has a price. Look. Let me tell you why. She had a price to take off that shirt. She had a price to take off those shoes. Now tell me what the price is to get that pussy.
And there is always a
It
price.
is.
They
It's a
might not
price.
say it out loud.
It's a price.
Everyone has a
But
price.
eventually you can pay
No,
something.
that's
If
not
you're
true.
willing to get paid to do this, what else are you willing to get paid
Women
to
will
do
turn
that?
That's
other
not true.
cheek.
I worked in strip clubs before. There are some people who would just
How?
come in, do the bare minimum, and then be okay with that bare minimum. And then you got the ones who want more.
Keep
And
it a buck. You gave a nigga a hand job.
no.
Oh, she started off like, no. Yeah. Nigga said $500. You're not giving that man a hand job.
It's crazy how she could even laugh about this. This is like the fact that you're laughing. This is on a YouTube channel that hundreds of thousands of people see, and he would laugh about this. And I'm just gonna keep it a buck. If you've ever been in the strip club like life type thing, I mean, I don't personally spend money there, but whenever I go out with people who enjoy throwing stacks, sure, I'll slide out if they ask me to, because they know I'm not gonna throw any money, because I don't. What the hell? I'm not paying a woman just for existing. What do I look like? But let's carry on. But this woman, you already know it's generally the most unattractive women that have to do extra to get like more money. That's typically how it is. Beautiful women just get whatever the hell they want. We're gonna pretend like that's not the truth.
See? Point proven.
Nah,
I
these
appreciate
girls
you.
have morals though. Some of them just do what they do to get money, and
$500. That's
Did you say morals? So she's being a stripper with morals. That morals and being a stripper doesn't even correlate. That's wild. But we're gonna end it on that. If you could like, share, and subscribe to this video, subscribe to the channel, that'd be very much appreciated. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.